We're getting to the end of July, and it looks like a week of sunshine and no rain. Let's see what kind of effects that can have on our crops as we talk on our Allied Cooperative program this morning with Allan Herritz, agronomist with Allied Cooperative down in the Boston area. And Allan, when you hear that weather forecast of sunny weather and temperatures upper 70s to lower 80s, as an agronomist, with what we've seen so far this year, how does that trip your trigger?
Oh, that's great to hear. You know, this year, looking at this year compared to last year, our moisture levels are quite elevated. We went from a drought last year to almost a flood this year. So with the moisture levels brings prevalent disease opportunities, so we need to do our best to try to protect that.
So talk about some of the diseases as you start going out in the fields or continue to go out in the fields. What kind of diseases do you expect you might find out there?
So the biggest one we're after is tar spot. It sounds like not within our area, I haven't heard yet, but within southern southwest Wisconsin, we've heard tar spot's prevalent there, so it's working our way up to us, unfortunately. We look at 2 years ago, and we've seen the similar weather patterns. We had tar spot, almost you could call disasters, where they had some large yield robbing characteristics, 20, 30 bushel losses, so we want to do our best to try to protect that and make sure that doesn't happen.
Is that something we can identify easily, tar spot? I've talked to some people who said they wouldn't have seen it if they didn't have a drone out there, at least early indications of tar spot. How hard or easy is that to detect on those leaves?
It's actually pretty easy. It looks just like it sounds. It looks like you just took some tar and splattered it on the plant. Unfortunately, if we see it, it's almost too late, so we want to do our best to protect it and not get it.
By protecting it, what's the best way to protect it right now? Do we anticipate we should spray for it, even though if we haven't yet seen it?
Yes, that's what we recommend here at Allied. We went out and contracted a helicopter company and a couple drone companies to help get a fungicide application out there to protect against it. We also have internally we have some high clearance ground machines that can go over the top of tasseled corn and apply the fungicide.
Talk about that application, the fungicide, what we're applying, in what kind of quantities, and will it completely eliminate that tar spot?
It has the best opportunity to eliminate it. We do a lot of our acres through a helicopter. We'll do probably 10 to 20,000 acres through a helicopter a year. We have a helicopter coming in at the end of this week to do some of the early planted stuff down in the south. It's already tasseled. The best opportunity to fight against tar spot is to put a fungicide out there.
Are we talking across generally all of the trade area? Have you got corn protected against tar spot? Because, as you said, it's already been detected in some parts of southern southwest Wisconsin. You anticipate it will be a problem.
Yes, I do anticipate it, especially looking at the weather events we've had. There's two ways to get tar spotted, either over winters, and you'll see the speckling brown spots on the bottom half of the plant, or you'll see it on the top half. When you see it on the top half, that's usually carried in by weather patterns.
And what's the result if we don't treat for tar spot and we get it?
We've seen some impacts from 10 bushel loss up to 30 bushel loss in the most severe cases.
And that's not a good thing, the way we got that crop in this year. But again, this week should improve the look of the corn by, from today until the end of the week, we should see a lot of difference in that corn.
Absolutely, absolutely. With the heat and dry weather, we should see that corn pop.
Any other conditions you're expecting that you'll be out there looking for, Allan? I know tar spot is number one, but are there some other precautionary diseases we should be at least thinking about and looking for?
Yeah, I mean there's a plethora of diseases, and the way I look at it is we want to get it treated for protection rather than once we find a disease try to treat it then. We're better ahead if we treat it before we get the disease versus after we treat it. So more preventative than anything.
One quick question about soybeans, and we'll let you go. Are you anticipating white mold challenges with all the moisture we've had this year?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, with moisture brings disease pressure, so white mold could be a big issue for us, especially in those lower areas of the field that are holding water.
And with a big canopy, that doesn't help it either.
It does not. No, it does not.
You're not going to run out of work anytime soon, it doesn't sound like, Allan.
No, it's another challenging year for us, but another great year and a great opportunity to keep growing some crops.
Allan, thanks for the update and the information this morning.
Thank you very much.
Again, that's Allan Herritz, agronomist with Allied Cooperative in the Boston area. On our Allied Cooperative program, I'm Bob Bosold.